Dog Walkers is campaigning for off-lead areas to be created in Charnwood. It's since the Borough Council made most of its parks and open spaces subject to orders requiring dogs to be restrained at all times.
Well, their calls are being backed by the Kennel Club, which says more councils are imposing these restrictive orders, leading to fewer and fewer green spaces for dogs to run freely in. Victoria Hicks reports.
Julie Bradshaw's leading a campaign to make Garendon Green in Loughborough a safe place for dogs to run off the lead.
It's not just across Charnwood, it's across the country, and the change we want to bring about are dog safe areas where dogs can run freely, safely. At the moment there's hardly anywhere to go, especially in Charnwood. I know there are certain councils already down south that have got spaces for them.
Julie's handed in a petition to Charnwood Borough Council. Residents here have also set up a Facebook page supporting the campaign for dog-friendly spaces.
Sometimes out in the parks, you're taking your dog, it's on the lead, they can't get off and explore, and you feel rushed a lot because there's either someone on the pedestrian area trying to rush you along, there's push bikes and a lot of cars, so it's just having that space where you can manage and police it better.
10 miles down the road in Birstall, 3 parks here are also subject to a public spaces protection order. Dogs here have to be kept on leads at all times.
For us personally, I prefer them on the lead. Also, I don't want them fouling the play areas.
I think if it's where the children are playing, as in on the park pieces, then it should be on the lead. But then the rest of the area, it's fine to let the dog off.
Animals like a bit of freedom like everybody else. And if you're a responsible owner, then you're not going to let your dog run wild, are you?
Charnwood Borough Council says it introduced the restrictions to tackle the problem of dog fouling and dog attacks. It says it will now consider the petition, but adds that there are many other local places where dogs can be taken off their leads, like areas here at Watermead Country Park. Victoria Hicks, BBC East Midlands Today, Leicestershire.
Well, we're joined now by Ed Hayes from the Kennel Club. Thanks very much for speaking to us, Ed. It seems it's the problem with dog fouling and dog attacks that have led to these restrictions.
That's what I understand the local situation is, and it's often the case actually. Dog fouling is a key contributor to restrictions on dog walkers, and that's why it's really important that all dog walkers take responsibility and pick up after their dog.
It does seem in many respects that responsible dog owners are paying the price really for irresponsible dog owners.
Certainly can be the case. In many instances that certainly feels to be the issue, that it's a very minority of people who are causing the problems, and that's resulting in restrictions on all dog owners regardless of their behaviour. The Kennel Club would ideally like to see more use of targeted measures whereby those irresponsible minority are sort of dealt with as individuals as opposed to blanket measures being placed on all dog owners.
How on earth do you police that though?
Well, if you have officers on the ground, they can issue what's known as community protection notices, which require you can place bespoke specific conditions on irresponsible dog owners. So you can ask them to go to training events, ask them to keep their dogs on a lead, etc. So you get that really sort of targeted approach at individuals. Although it is quite resource intensive, however, we think it probably actually deliver you a better outcome rather than blanket measures, which might just result in those problem dog walkers going somewhere else and having the same problem.
The way the councils are at the moment, they just don't have the money to spend on that.
I mean that is true. There is a resource issue there, but if the council doesn't have resources to have officers on the ground, then enforcement of a blanket rule might also be difficult. And those same sort of small cohort of irresponsible dog owners might just flout the existing rules anyway, and we might still be in the same position in 6 months' time.
Okay, Ed Hayes, thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you.
Some good news.